All right. Hello, and welcome to this live stream. So, today we're gonna have another cozy watch me work live stream. I'm gonna work on a model sheet, and as always, you can ask me any questions about art and animation, and we can dive into that. So for this project that I'm working on, we're actually in the pre-production phase right now. Some of you might remember we had it like 6 months, 8 months ago. We started working on this little scene set in a bigger fantasy world. And the main character in this scene is Mila. And she's a farmer girl who secretly learns magic, practices magic. But in the scene that we're producing, she is on the field and more or less, not accidentally, but uses magic, and it accidentally has much more force than she was expecting. But before we can dive into a bigger production, even if it's just a scene that we're going to be working on for a couple of weeks or months, it's very helpful to have a model sheet to keep the design consistent, making sure that all the proportions are the same. And right now we have the front view already finished. This is just a scribble. Obviously, there's still going to be, we're going to ink it and everything. But yeah, so this is how far we got so far. And I think before we ink it, I actually want to do all the views in scribble, so that maybe other views can inform how the character design might change to accommodate one thing or the other. So yeah, what I already did here is I got the grid. Her body has a certain head size. This is something that makes sense for most animated characters to measure them in terms of how many head sizes they are tall. That's very easy and quick way to make sure that you draw them always roughly the same height. And we're actually not going super cute here with 5 head sizes. She's actually taller than if you would have like a really chibi cute design, but I think it's gonna be nice. And nevertheless, we got a couple of people in the chat. Hello, yo, Shashi. Hello, Fia390. Nice to see you all. How is everybody doing? Here in Germany, we have wonderful weather. We were just in the garden, and I almost forgot about the live stream, which I put in my calendar. That's my new strategy. I'm gonna do regular live streams by treating them like an appointment. So it's often not that I don't want to live stream, but it's also, there's a certain effort involved in it, and sometimes you're just so lazy. So I wonder if we should tackle the side view next, because the other view, the 3/4 view, that is super important, because most of the time the character is gonna be in 3/4 view, kind of facing the camera. That's gonna be a very important one. So maybe we can gain some insights on doing the side view first, the full side view. I actually have some background music that I could switch on. It wasn't playing during the intro, and it was supposed to be playing because I'm still... this live streaming sound mixing is still very tricky to me. But I think if I click here and then start the music, you should be able to hear something. Because I tried to talk the whole time, and of course, if you guys have any questions about art and animation, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But yeah, maybe sometimes I need to focus, and then we at least have some nice music here. All right, let's see. We are on a vector layer here. This is the grid. That's going to be super helpful. Maybe we should start naming stuff. So grid. All right, it's on a vector layer. That's wonderful. So if I want to pull out one of these lines, I can. Let's start with something tricky right now. Let's start with her face. I'm wondering what the other stuff is that is on the layers here. Oh, it's an animation project. Okay, I see. Yeah, we started with some explorative drawings. Of course, we are well beyond that now. We got this. And what is this layer? Number 4. Let's have a look into that right now. Oh, that's a nice little pose to check how the character design is actually working in context. Hello, Framecast. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. So I'm actually gonna do this one in a new animation folder. So let's create a new one. And once again, we want a vector layer. New layer, vector layer. Because you know me and my vectors, I always like them. Side view, making sure we have stuff named, and there we are. Okay. So there are a couple things we can clearly see from the front view, especially concerning to the height of the eyes. They're nice below the middle. At least, you know, that there's some decisions in here that are going to make her very, very cute with all the facial features being a little bit lower, and then immediately her face gets kind of pointy. That's another thing I need to remember. There was something during exploration while we were doing all these scribbles. I do like to contrast some very soft shapes with some very harsh, very pointy shapes. For example, I really like her nose going up like this. That's definitely something that I would want to keep in the side view. So let's start adding that drawing in the timeline. We got the pencil ready. Oh, why is undo not working? I'm not in the right language. German keyboard. I have everything set on my computer to English, but I can't get used to the English keyboard layout. That's just not working for me. So I think one of the easiest landmarks is actually going to be the eyes. So from the side view, they're relatively flat. I just low to place the lower eyelid, because the point where her eye lines meet is actually a little bit further up. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. Alrighty. Okay. So that is definitely where her eye has to sit. One decision we're also making here, we're turning her eye into a flat disc, and in the frontal view it's more like this. So that is a character design decision. You know, we could have the eye dot looking the same on every image, there's certainly also reasons to do that. So there is one construction method where you estimate the size of the head by doing these two circles, and I think that's gonna work in this case. We just have to line it up. It needs to be a little more flat in the front, so something like that, and then you have the second circle overlapping. I do wonder how far it should actually stick out. I do have to confess I didn't look at this model in a long time, but seeing how the chin is gonna plug in here like this, and then going up, her neck is probably coming out here. I like do you see the small neck we had there? I really like that decision. I want to keep it like this. So let's have the neck being leaning a little forward, not too thick. I think that could work. So we have like a quarter of the way in where it connects. Yeah, I think that works well. And then we can actually finish the second volume like this. Thank you, Saiful. Greetings to Bangladesh from Germany. Okay, so putting the ear here. I do like to work in this this way. It almost feels like sculpting, you know. It's a very deliberate, frame by frame, point by point, line by line way to work. I do wanna. We probably have to pull back her eye a bit. Let's maybe continue with the shape here. By the way, if any of you has any questions about art and animation, just let me know, and maybe we can talk about that as well as I'm getting closer to the character design that I want, line by line. Okay. So the bridge of her nose needs to be a little bit visible here. And how did I do the nose? I think it was really just coming out there pointy. Pointy and back. Not too large. Okay. Yes, I am using Clip Studio Paint. I've never really used it in production so far, but I really like the way how some of the features are, and in what little animation I did with it, I was really happy about it. So yeah, Gonna see how far I get with this project using it. So maybe we should move it even further here, the eye. Okay, lasso and moving it a little bit back so I can work on the shape here and have a nice yeah. That might work. We could also switch off the other layer here. The thing is, maybe we don't want to have it as realistic. You know, if it, in a more realistic style, it would curve in and then come out here. That would kind of be how it is, you know. Then you have the lips coming out, going into a chin. So maybe we want to simplify that a lot. Hello, the Jester and a Cinnamon. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if you guys have any questions about art and animation, anything we could talk about. I would love to have some discussions about topics that you think are interesting. And yeah, I'll also, during this whole project, I think we're always gonna dip into more topics on how to make a film production, stuff like that. So at the moment we're in the model sheet phase right now. Okay, so how about if we do this? If her head is just super flat and then the nose is coming out. Maybe her upper eyelash is a little bit longer. Yeah. As you can see, this is a simplification. Like, there's a lot more going on usually in the curvature of the face, but I do kind of like it like that. So let's keep it like that. Another thing we could do is maybe we could also move away from the realistic eye shape, cause. Oh no, that is too much. Erased too much. So, thank you for the kind words, the Jester. I wanted to let you know that you helped me so much with animation, helped me to get much more progress, so thank you. You're welcome. That's amazing to hear. That's, yeah, that's the reason why I do all of this. That's the reason why I make these tutorials. And live streams to help you guys with the knowledge that I have acquired over the years. So, maybe her eye just gets a little more. Yeah, I like that. Like, it's basically the same eye shape, but a little bit squashed. I'm not totally happy with her nose. Maybe it tilts more down when she is in side view. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I do like the dipping up, though. Maybe if we do make a little bit of a little bit of a mouth shape here, you know, of the lips coming out. I think that works into her pointiness even more. So I guess that could work. I think that's where her mouth is. It's relatively close to the nose. So yeah, why not? I think that works. Good. Switching the grid back on, seeing if things are still... we could move this a little bit down. There and there maybe, and moving them down. And here we're also moving. Oh no, those need to stay. And those need to come down. There we go. Okay. There's another question. How can I design backgrounds? Can you give some suggestions, like Cartoon Network, so that my 2D animation becomes more beautiful? Well, so if you see anything that you like, whether it be a background style or an animation, like a motion or something. Oh, I haven't opened concept yet. So let's get the whiteboard up. No. Here. Okay. So, why is undo not working again? It is just not working. Why? Why would it not just... now it works. Okay, so whenever you have something where you think, I want to do that, there are a couple of things that you can start with. So, first of all is analyze. You need to ask yourself, what do I actually see? If I pay closer attention, if I'm not just let the backgrounds or the animation, whatever me inspires, if I don't just let the things that inspire me go past, but ask myself, what makes them so amazing? What is so interesting about that? And in the case of the background, you might notice something like the colors, like the color palette that they're using, the shapes that they're using, the shading, where are the shadows? How do they deal with shadows? How do colors blend together? How do they work with light and shadow? And just by noticing what, you will automatically slide into thinking why they do the things that they do. And in the case of the Cartoon Network backgrounds that might inspire you, it could be to simplify, it could be to exaggerate, and this will help you to replicate it. So not only this, of course, if you pay close attention. What colors do they use? What shapes do they use? You can just copy that, but it's better to understand why, to understand what the goal is. And yeah, with all these things in mind, you can go into exploration. And exploration would be going in all kinds of different directions with what you want to copy. So you could just think about, what backgrounds do I want to make? And then you could look for references. If you say, I have a short film that is set, I don't know, in a crazy laboratory, or in a house, just a normal family home, or, you know, whatever your animation requires, whatever your idea requires, I'm sure there's a reference. Some Cartoon Network show will have backgrounds that go in the directions of the thing that you're trying to do. So you collect references and you start sorting your collections into things that you really like and things that you maybe not like so much, and maybe there are different moments in your film where you need different kind of backgrounds. So you can you just have this big collection of references. Maybe you're already doing a scribble, and in step one you should really just collect, and maybe have a folder on your PC that gets larger and larger and larger. Have a whiteboard, whether it be in your PC or an actual, like, put printouts and post-it notes and whatever in your room, on the wall, on the windows, and just make these collections. And then the next phase would be experiment, where you take a subset of your exploration. You're saying, like, okay, I like this, I like the colors in this, I like the line art in this, I like the scene in this. You take all of these things and then you start creating your own. You start replicating the shapes, replicating the colors, and you just start experimenting with it. And this is something you should also do over and over, and, you know, see what you liked in your previous try, then maybe change it up a little bit. And at this point, you shouldn't work too big. You should just make small color studies, small drawings, small sketches. You don't want to create the perfect background for your film yet, because you haven't fully explored the style yet. You haven't fully practiced it yet. You need to make these practice studies. So that's one of the goals here. You want to do studies, and you want to narrow your style, your decisions. So even if you said, like, you know, Cartoon Network, it's not all Cartoon Network shows. There are, you know, some shows do stuff a little bit different than others. And if you have done your exploration well and you have collected all these references and analyzed them, you will realize, like, oh, in this show, they're doing this very, very different than in the other show. And experimentation is now about narrowing down what exactly you like the most. And maybe you find something new. Maybe you find something where you don't just copy it from Cartoon Network. And yeah, and then in a production, we would have definition. After you narrowed down your decisions, you can write them down. How do my colors, shapes, volumes, shading look like? And it could be a style guide. The result could be a style guide with examples where you write down the rules that you have uncovered and the things that are important for you in an awesome background style. You can codify them so you can always refer to them. This is super useful if you work on a project over a longer time. Even if you don't work with a team, it's super important with a team, so you can tell your other team members, hey, this is a style guide, this is how we do our backgrounds. But even if you're just working alone, you forget after 2 months, 3 months with not working on the project because there was other stuff in your life, you will be so happy if you have a style guide that helps you to come back in. And then, of course, at the very end of it, then you have implementation. Now you actually draw the backgrounds. So do you see how late in the process that is? I know it might feel weird to not immediately start working on your final background, but all this work that you put in before you start doing the background that you actually want for your animation, all this work will be worth it. All these discoveries that you make, all these decisions that you make, all these stylistic choices that you find on your way, they will in the end accumulate in awesome backgrounds. And yeah, people will wonder like how did this guy do it? How did they make backgrounds that look so good, so well thought out? And it's because they are well thought out. It's because you put all this work in there to get to a really informed style. Does that make sense? And of course that applies not only to making backgrounds, that applies to pretty much everything. All right. So we might want to create more. Wonder if we just keep this as a grid outside an animation folder so we can always see it. And what I would like to do here is to copy this for the hair, because we need another hair volume. And now's the question, how much does it come out? She obviously has one side of her hair. Oh, I need to make sure that I don't pull it down. And yeah, what we are in right now, we are actually now with this character, we are in the definition phase. So I did all the exploration, styles that I like, made these collections. And now I'm coming up with a rule, a style guide, if you will. Why is this not selecting? I want to work. Oh. I want to work on, maybe if we lock this. Yeah, now it has to give me, no? Object? Select layer? No. Vector. Ah, now it's selecting everything. Why is that? Did I press something? Maybe. Oh. Object. Let's select vector, see what that does. Selects everything. Why does it select everything? Toggle selection. Any Clip Studio Paint Pros in here? Oh, it might be because... Do we have something in the light table? No. Oh boy. Okay, then let's create a new circle. That's the disadvantage of learning a new software live. And whenever I am here with you guys, maybe one more thing. Can I reset this? I must reset to default, but I can't. Why not? Huh. Reset to default is grayed out. Maybe because it is the default? Okay, resetting this. This I can't reset. Oh, we drew her mouth on the wrong layer. At least that is something that I can change. So that wouldn't be on this layer. It would be here. Can I paste in place? Paste to shown position. Nope. Oh, it creates a new thing. Can I paste on layer? That's the thing that annoyed me about Krita, that I couldn't paste into a frame. I can look that up later. Ach, now it's doing it. What a German sound. Ach, ach. Ah, German is such a beautiful language. Okay, so it seems like I was not on the right layer, and for some reason it would not let me do that. So I don't think it can come out too much. Maybe a quarter of her head size. That's kind of the measurement that we've been going with for many things. And I think it could work in this case as well. So it doesn't look like this huge thing is like tilting her off balance. Ah, you're welcome for that little excursion about the background art and exploration and stuff. Asking, is there any way I can get a picture of that page you wrote so that I can remember the whole thing and follow your advice? Let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Is it still readable when I show everything at once? So that if you want, you can make a screenshot here. I should actually make a video or a article about this at some point. But yeah, if any of you want to do a screenshot, you can do that now. And oh, you don't see everything there. Now everything should be on screen. Yeah, but at some point, like that's the thing that I always teach how to make films with, so I'm sure we're gonna talk about this more. Back to pencil, back to the side view. Now this is gonna be interesting in that so how do we do that? Oops. What is going on here? Nope. Why is Teams trying to open like crazy? What did I do to you, Microsoft Teams? This is not the kind of work we want to do. All back to normal? Weird. My computer is doing weird stuff. Okay, so we need to think about this a little bit. So we have this weird situation where half is here. Half of the circle. No. Half of the circle is here. Okay. So we're working in not only quarters but eighths now. So this is a quarter of the half distance, and halving this again here is where that little hair dent connects. All right. Okay. And then on the half line, actually a little bit over, we actually have her hair come out. So I guess we do another quarter here. Oh boy, that's a lot of hair. I think we actually have to cover her hair though. If she has her ears, if she has so much hair, it only makes sense that it also would be covered. So maybe her hair would be like this in the front view, covering her ears like this. Thank you, Zoel. Love from Germany to India. There's so many more people from India here if I live stream a little bit earlier, which I think is really cool. It's really nice that you're hanging out here. I'm actually gonna try to do some live streams in the morning, which should be noonish in India. So we're gonna have some live streams a little bit earlier, a little bit more at friendlier times for the Indian people in my community. All right. Okay, so, and now all these different circles. So, on this side, she actually has the smaller one, which is coming out here and then going right under her chin. Alright. She has so much hair. I think we have to reduce it to go right below here. I feel like that makes more sense from a balance point of view. No, I don't have a Discord server yet. That is certainly on my list, especially if I do more live streams more intensively. Maybe also really if this whole thing joins production, there might be live streams that are a little bit hidden where I'll just be working on it without talking much. But I wanted to stream that as well, so that might be happening. So when that happens, when we get there, I'll think about making a Discord server. All right. Now let's switch this back on and think about her collar. And I do think I want to tilt it a little, or do I? So according to the front view, it's covering up her mouth right under the nose. And I think I want to do this little straight against curve situation where I have the curve here. A quarter under this line, we have her shoulders. So here. Okay. Tips to your paint for your iPad is amazing. Oh, that's nice to hear. I've always been wondering if I should get a tablet of some sort at some point. That's pretty good to know. All right. Okay. I think we got her face area figured out for today. Actually, there's something that I want to change in the top here. Unfortunately, I do have to leave soon. If there's any question that you have that I can maybe answer in the last couple of minutes, let me know. There's going to be more live stream. There's going to be a next live stream on Sunday. It will be in the morning, my 9 o'clock Central Europe time. But I do have to look up what that is in other time zones. I promise I'll be better with the announcements. One of the best locations to look for announcements is on the Patreon. So if you go to animatorisland.com/Patreon, no, other way around, patreon.com/animatorisland. I've been kind of okay with announcing live streams before they happen. I promise I'll be more predictable in the future. As I said, I plan to put live streams into my calendar so they happen for sure. But yeah, there's another live stream on Sunday where we'll continue to work on the 3D animation that we did in a couple other live streams. And of course, we'll also continue to do this project. But you know, I figured even if I don't have much time, it's better than nothing to work on your passion project a little bit, you know. Slow and steady wins the race, as they say. So, yeah. Wonderful. Compositing in open tunes. Interesting topic. I haven't really done much compositing, but it's in open tunes. But it's really cool that you can do that. It's really fascinating because it almost makes something like After Effects obsolete, which could be awesome, especially because there are some reasons why you might not want to use After Effects or get away from it. So, all right, I think this is where we leave it for today. Thank you all so very much for joining. I hope you had a nice time over here. JP said, just got the new 13-inch, the M4 iPad, awesome, a couple of days ago, and it's perfect for animating while I'm laying down. Yeah. What do you animate with? Procreate Dreams, or you do it in Clip Studio Paint? That's pretty cool. Yeah, I heard a lot of people were praising Procreate Dreams, is it right? So I'm super curious. They seem to have some interesting ideas on how to bring certain operations to mobile. Whereas I guess if you have Clip Studio Paint on mobile, it's just the desktop experience on the device. And I wonder which is better. You know, coming up with new touch-friendly, stylus-friendly UI, or to yeah, I mean, for big projects, you probably sooner or later need something that has all the options, like a desktop software. Fascinating. All right, if you want to support me, you can do that on patreon.com/animatorisland. You can just throw a couple of coins my way, and I will do my best to continue with more live streams, more tutorials. And if you want to improve yourself, if you want to work on your skills, you might want to check out the group mentoring tier. If you join in the group mentoring tier, they are monthly meetings where you can present your work, whatever you're currently working on, and I'll give you my feedback, annotate over it, give you tips and tricks on how to improve it. And not only that, we can make a plan on how to sharpen your skills together, look at what areas you need to practice, how you could practice them, all this kind of stuff. So if that sounds interesting to you, you might want to check that out on patreon.com/animatorisland, and there's a page specifically about the group mentoring on animatorisland.com/group mentoring if you want to learn more about this. Thank you all so very much for watching, staying with me on this lovely day. I hope you're doing well. Good luck with your own passion projects. Keep on creating, and see you again hopefully soon. Bye bye.